This is my number one thing. As a listing agent, you have to be digital. You have to be on digital platforms. You have to market across multiple digital platforms. Everybody has a money problem. I don't care how rich you are. We always want more money.
That's a bar.
You know? There's a lot of opportunity in Houston for house hacking. You know, some states, some cities, it doesn't make sense in terms of mortgage prices, rent, all of that stuff. But I really want you to come do that in Houston. I really want you to come teach a seminar or have a summit on house hacking in Houston. There's a lot of opportunity with multifamily too. You know, that's the only part of the market that I see right now that's still super strong. Those homes are still flying off the shelf in Houston like it was COVID time. And people can still take advantage of FHA. You know, VA loans for multifamily, 3.5%, no down payment, you know? Like, I think the Houston millennials are getting it.
Okay.
You know, and the generation after that, but it's so much opportunity being missed. You know what I'm saying? They're letting investors come swoop them up when they can have them too.
Well, because I think in the South, generally speaking, southern regions are more single family, townhomes, like big backyards.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like dense like New York, tri-state, right? Where multifamilies, you grow up in them shits.
Okay.
You know, where we live. But where you guys live, you don't really live in multifamily housing. It's not the normal.
Right.
And I was reading something that said that I think Houston single family homes like 423,000 on average right now.
Right.
Which is insane. I remember a couple years ago, that thing was like 200 and something thousand. So Houston ain't cheap no more.
No, it's not. Houston is not cheap anymore. Our best performing price point right now is $500 to $1 million.
Whoa.
500 to $1 million. During COVID, it was $1 million plus, or 750 plus, the luxury market. Of course, you know how that goes when interest rates get high. Those luxury buyers get smart. They want cheap money, you know? So they kind of pull back. But right now, 500 to $1 million, and we're not looking at like, I mean, these are your young entrepreneurs, you know, your young workers, you know, these aren't just like the lavish buyers, you know, these, I mean, well, if you kind of look at what $1 million looks like in Houston now, what it looked like 2, 3, 4 years ago, it's totally different, right?
Yeah.
So you really have to, it's kind of crazy if you want to be in a quote unquote decent family home, you know, you have to be 500 plus right now.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Like anything under that, you kind of just settling for a house.
Starter homes, basically.
Starter homes, but you're kind of just settling. Like that first-time home buyer, they're getting pushed out.
So let's talk about the house hackonomics of Houston.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's talk about this. So Houston, I know the zoning laws are pretty much, you can do whatever
it's free game.
It's free game. You can take a single family, convert it into a multifamily, which FHA 203K is a great product for, right? And a lot of people don't take advantage of that. And I think Houston, yes, I think you're right. Definitely need to come to Houston and do a class out there about house hacking and teach more about that, because that is the perfect place for you to buy a single family and convert it.
Right.
And create what you want, that cash flow.
Right.
Now, what I want to know from you is, how is that true multifamily market out there, right? Is there a lot of duplexes? Is it more triplexes and quads? Like, what are the structures out there? Or is it more 5+ family properties for commercial?
So what we see, like the average buyer buying is a duplex. Okay. When you start getting the triads and quads, those are more the investor buyer, right? So when you look at who's buying these multifamily for their primary residence, we're seeing a lot of duplexes. And they're moving quickly. I mean, the average price point right now for a duplex in the city is easy $500.
So $500 for a duplex. What type of rental are we looking at? Let's just say in a good area of Houston.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of developers are building brand new and selling them. Okay. Right. So 500, let's just say a brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 12 to 1,500 square feet on each side is renting for about $2,100 a month.
Damn, in Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I'm listing one right now. Well, my team is listing one right now. Each side, $2,100 a month.
Damn. So, all right. So you have $4,200 a month, 500,000 sales price. So you don't meet the 1% rule where you really want to have at least 5,000 in rent. How is the Airbnb market for a duplex in Houston?
It's even crazier. So that's what people are doing. They're taking one side and living in it and Airbnb the other side, so you can make triple what you would make with a long-term tenant or, 1 year, 12-month lease.
So how's that looking per night? Like, what is that rate looking like?
Ooh, it's ranging. So of course in the city, let's see, on the week, weekdays, of course, weekdays rates are lower.
Mhm.
I would say anywhere, just kind of depending on, because you know they're getting real spiffy with these Airbnbs now. It's not the standard just don't fly anymore.
Nah,
you know,
your shit gotta be looking at creme de la creme.
Yeah,
nowadays.
you got to be creme
It's
de
too
la
much
creme.
competition.
Nice, absolutely right. And then you can go down the street to a hotel. But so on average, on the weekends, I say you can get anywhere from $260 to $320, just depending.
Damn,
a night.
So even if you had $300,
don't let it be an
event.
Yeah,
that's 10 nights. That's $3K. Easy
for 10 nights.
Yeah.
And even if you lower and most people do, of course, lower it during the weekday.
Yeah.
Just to get the booking, get the occupancy.
Another $250 a night. Add another 10 days. That's $2,500. So now you're talking about $5,500 from one unit versus you doing $2,000. So you can make $3,000 surplus.
Absolutely.
So now you're living for free and you're cash flowing.
And you house hacking, right? And you're going to get out of that your side eventually and do the same thing.
Now you got $10,000
off of 2 doors.
Off of 2 doors. Damn, Houston. Houston, we have a problem.
Exactly, but they don't get that. It's just, like I said, the millennials and the next generation, they're picking it up, right? In my opinion, we have a influx of Airbnbs now, right? People have caught the Airbnb wave, right? So now, but it's not just your standard Airbnb anymore. Now you got to catch the luxury Airbnb wave, or the high-end Airbnb, the doped out Airbnb. The standards just don't fly. You're not making any money with the standards anymore, right? You got to have the creme de la creme, like you said, right? But I think more and more people are getting that. It's just taking them a little bit longer to get that. But at worst case scenario, even if you just rented one side and lived in the other, these are appreciating areas. They're growing like crazy. All of our duplexes, all of our multifamily is inner city, right? So we're looking at, on average, before COVID, the standard appreciation was like 6 to 7%.
Yeah.
Now, with all of the development going on, we're looking at 12, 13, 14% year over year.
Even still in this market today, 2022.
Yes.
August 2022.
Because here's the thing, in Houston, those are definitely gentrified areas. They're close to the city. The closer you are to downtown, the higher the value is, the land value is. So these are definitely gentrified areas. People are transforming whole streets.
So they're buying up all these single families, knocking them down, basically, building these duplexes, and house hacking their life away. So why is it not more buyers taking advantage of house hacking in Houston?
I think it's knowledge. They don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Right. But even like you said, we just broke down the Airbnb side. But even if you just look at like, hey, I just want to live here, offset my mortgage payment, and put a renter on the other side, and I'm gonna grow in value year over year over year over year. So 5, 6, 7 years from now, like I'm good.
Yeah.
Move on. Let me cash out.
Even if you don't want to deal with that maintenance,
right?
Because Airbnb is not easy.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot that comes with Airbnb, right? And especially if you're gonna live there. You have people, traffic, in and out. You don't know who's renting. So not everybody wants to do the Airbnb play, but like you said, it's the offset of your mortgage payment. Even if you're getting $2,100 a month, $500,000. Houston taxes are not that expensive from what I remember.
It's the lowest. Well, so in the city too. Again, this just makes sense. It's the lowest tax rate in the whole city. On average, in the suburbs, you're gonna be anywhere from about 3.3% all the way up to 4% tax rate. In the city, you 2.3 to 2.6.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that just makes sense from an investment standpoint. Getting your first investment property, offsetting your mortgage, getting something that's gonna grow in value. It just makes sense.
Yeah. So you may be looking at, with those tax rates, $500,000, you probably $3,500, $4,000 mortgage payment somewhere around now.
$500,000, $500,000. Probably about $4,000.
So you're talking about $4,000. You got $2,100 coming in, so you're paying about $1,900 out of your pocket, and you own. Versus
that's appreciating.
That's appreciating.
Let's just say about 13% year over year.
Now, do you think Houston is going to be able to sustain that? We got interest rates going up. Feds had a meeting today in Jackson Hole. Their remarks are basically they're still trying to fight inflation, so we can expect them to continue to raise the Fed funds rates. Do you think Houston is going to continue this 13, 15% appreciation over the next 12 to 18 months? What's your outlook?
I do think so. In certain markets, right? In that localized market, yes. In every market, not as much, right? I mean, but like I said, in that area, we looking at area specific, right? In that area, we're seeing 12, 13%. In the suburbs, you're probably seeing 7, 8. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of where you are, right? So the area does play a factor.
Still appreciation.
Yeah. Nevertheless, still appreciation, no matter how you look at it. And absolutely, one thing I can say, we have low tax rate. I mean, in the city, you have a low tax rate, right? And regardless of how we look at what these interest rates and all of this inventory coming back to the market has done to the nation, Houston is still strong. Compared to COVID times, and I compare everything to COVID times a lot because everybody thinks
that's all they know.
Yeah,
the world didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly before COVID, right?
Before COVID,
yeah,
BC.
Yeah, but I mean, if you still look at where we were a year ago, and a year ago we were in the height of COVID, our average, our median is still higher. It's still going up. The thing I will say though, we see price drops and everybody gets scared. You'll see a price drop. Oh, we had the most price drops ever last month, and everybody freak out.
That's
right?
Like fear mongering bullshit, though.
Exactly.
I hate that.
But let me tell you what it really is, though. Houston has 40,000 realtors on record, right? With our Houston Association of Realtors, we have 40,000 realtors on record in Houston, not Texas, just Houston. 20 to 25% of that got their license during COVID.
Facts.
So that's all they know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So when a home doesn't sell in 2 days, they panicking. Yeah. Right? Because that's the market they came into. Yeah. So now it's dropped the price.
They spoiled.
Right? But it was already too high to begin with because they still had that COVID mindset. Right? This price is super, super high because we're going to get buyers and things like that flocking out the door. And now they're not coming. Oh, we spoiled and we going crazy and something is wrong. So let's drop the price. Right? Right. So when they dropping the price, they're dropping it to what it actually should be anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But all we see is price drops. And everybody gets scared when they see price drops. But you can't look at price drops, look at value.
Bingo. Right.
Look at value.
I tell people this all the time. Stop paying attention to the fear mongering because the fear mongering is real right now. Right. And price drops do not dictate too much in this market. The home values are still appreciating nationwide. Right. Homes are still selling right now about 1 to 2% above asking price on average right now. Right. Right. This is what we got to pay attention to. There will be price drops. Like you got to be out of your goddamn mind if you think that with rates going up and home prices still appreciating, you got to think there are going to be some sellers that are going to drop their price. There are probably going to be a lot of sellers because they're probably trying to get out and get something else. Right, that's natural. Right, but that was before COVID too. That was before. Yeah, that happens just all the time. And I think everybody got too used to homes going 30, 40, 50, 100,000 above asking those bidding wars. It's because money was so cheap. Yeah, you had everything that was like a perfect storm. Money was cheap. Bitcoin was up. Stocks was up. Options was up. Money was PPP loans was up. Everything was flowing in the market. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, of course, it's money to throw away. It was just crazy access to money. It was money. Yeah. The capital was endless at that time. But I think right now we're getting back to a regular market. Right. Like, I don't think we're going to sustain, me personally, I don't think we're going to sustain 12, 13, 14% in real estate. I think we're going to come back to some normalcy next year. 3 to 5% appreciation nationwide, just depending on what market you're in. Now, obviously, hot markets, yes, you'll probably be still in that 7 to 10%, just depending on where you are. Yeah. But I think overall, I think we're going to get back to some normalcy. But I agree with that. I don't see a crash. Yeah, I don't see a crash. Even with the price drops, even with the Feds raising rates can go up to another point right now. Mortgage rates can go up to another point. I still don't see it crashing because now that's going to take more sellers out of the game. Right. They're not going to list their homes. Right. Right. Like, and I think another thing that people need to realize is that this inventory growing. I don't think people understand that doesn't mean more houses are coming on the market when they say inventory is going up. It's just homes are just not selling as fast as they are. So now the homes that were selling in a day or 2 or 5 days, now it's taking on average nationwide around 21 days for a house to get in the contract, where over the past couple of years, it was taking anywhere from 7 to 14 days. So now that inventory is now lingering from July to August to September, right? What it used to be, though. And that was normal. Yeah, that was the norm. That's what it used to be. Even now, at the brokerage, I have agents all the time that's like, freaking out.
my listing is just sitting there. I'm like, what's sitting there? 12 days?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. I'm like, you ain't even gave it a whole push yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But they don't even know how to market yet.
That's the problem.
Let's talk about that.
That's
the real
the problem.
estate professional.
That's the problem. Let me take a sip on that, because that's the problem.
Because you're going to need a couple sips on that one, right? Because the real estate professionals, I think, like you said, most of them are new in the business. Most of them are young. They don't know cycles yet, right? What tips can you give the new realtors nationwide? Let's not make it market specific. Yeah. Let's talk general nationwide. What 3 tips can you give them to be successful in this type of market? So
first of all, you got to go back to basics and fundamentals, right? Real estate, any of these strategies that you see, it's not new, right? They've all been done. It's just a matter of doing them. I think COVID did 2 things. It made the listing agent lazy, and it either one, burnt out the buyer's agent, or made them super, super aggressive. Right? You know, so like from a listing perspective, you got to go back to basics. You know, you have to be, this is my number one thing. As a listing agent, you have to be digital. You have to. You have to be digital. You have to be on digital platforms. You have to market across multiple digital platforms.
And this is the conversation we were having earlier.
Exactly.
You got to turn from a transactional professional to a media company.
Exactly. You got to turn from a transactional professional to a media company. Let somebody else handle the back end. That's not your job, right? All that paperwork, those are what we call not money-making activities. Correct. Are they essential? Absolutely, right? But you pay somebody to do that, you know? So that's the first thing. You have to be digital. You have to be a media company. It was an article that came out. I can't remember who it came out with, but they said 85% of people that's listing their homes today want to list with agents that have a strong digital presence.
Talk to them.
You know, I mean, that's just the way of the land right now. You know, look at your reach when you go digital.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to even different. Let's step outside the transactions for a second. Our intellectual property is ridiculous, right? We have an opportunity as licensed professionals to create 5, 6, 7, 10 different streams of income based off of our knowledge and what we know. You can write books, you can put out ebooks, you can put out digital courses, you can do webinars, you can host seminars, you can do one-on-ones, you can do consultations, you can real estate invest. Like there's so many different things that we can do as professionals. And I think we have to start thinking outside the box. We can't just rely on commission checks.
Because they come and go.
They come and sometimes they don't come.
Right? They come and then they go.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like you can wait months. And I think we're going to get into that market where people are going to start starving, right? So what I try to tell any real estate professional, you got to do other things. And that doesn't mean, go get a job here, go get a job there. It means you need to broaden your horizons and figure out how can you monetize your IP.
But you know what? How can you monetize your IP? One thing about it too is gaining the IP. You know, we've gotten lazy.
Facts.
We don't go to seminars anymore. We don't mastermind anymore, right? Because the homes were selling flying off the shelf. We didn't have time to do those things, right? We don't read books anymore. Like these are the things that get your IP up. Because let's be frank. All this real estate stuff, all this transaction stuff, all these strategies, it's all been done before.
Absolutely.
Somebody has done it before. It's been put out there, right? Somebody has mastered it. They're teaching it, right? But I mean, it's so crazy. Look at me and my market. I'm not bragging on myself, but if you look at my market and like what the digital presence is and things like that, comparing myself to other realtors, and they're like, how did you get this? How did you get these how did you get these listings with the number one builder in the nation and things like that? Yeah. My digital presence. They saw me too. Yeah. Right. You know, and then I can go and speak intelligently to them. Right. And then I can go and speak intelligently to them and I can help them grow their business. You help people make money, they're gonna put money in your pocket.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Big fact.
Yeah.
Big fact. The more you help, the more you get back.
Yeah.
Everything has to make both sense and sense, right? What value you bring to the table for somebody else.
So that's my second one. Always make sure you bring in value. Stop doing stuff just to be doing it. You know, I get on our agents all the time. Pretty photos don't bring you nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
Everybody pretty.
Exactly, right?
Everybody pretty. I hold up. I don't even know where all these pretty girls come from on IG. Like, I just be like,
but they don't bring you nothing.
From?
They don't put any money in your pocket.
I be seeing so many pretty girls, but I don't see closings.
Exactly. It doesn't put any money in your pocket. And let me tell you what your pretty photos do for me. I'm dead serious. Let me tell you what your pretty photos do for me. They see your pretty photos, they see those pretty houses, then they inbox me and say, hey, where's this house? I want to buy it.
That's a fact.
They're marketing for other realtors that's bringing the value.
So they got to stop with the pretty photos. They got to throw some IP out there.
You can put the pretty photos out there, but it always needs to have some type of value aspect behind it. You know, you need to always show, hey, I'm the one that can get this done. You know, this is why you want to work with me. You know, and until you do that, you're going to have nothing but pretty photos. You might have a lot of followers, but followers don't always equate to deals.
No, it definitely doesn't.
You know?
Followers don't translate to dollars.
I'm telling you, I got a $2 million client right today that sent me a video from another realtor said, where's this house?
Get the hell out of here.
I'm so serious, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's the value aspect. Your intellectual property is everything. But I heard another realtor say this. She said, always make sure that you're filling up your tank so that you can pour it into others.
Fill up your tank so you can pour it into others.
Fill up your tank.
Elaborate.
Basically, you know, fill up your tank so that you can pour into others. So whether that's growing your knowledge base, you know, masterminding, growing your skill set so that you can pour into others, or learning more so that you can give, you know? And I believe in that, you know? I believe in the more you give, the more you reciprocate. Look at you, for example. I bet people like, man, he give away so much free knowledge, so much free game.
So much.
You know, honestly, I bet you probably would have gave the book away.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
I probably already gave it away in content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much free knowledge, it's so much free game. He's crazy. Why is he just giving it away? It's reciprocated through your giving.
You know what it is though? And I'm glad you said that, because when I first got on the scene and I first started doing content, like, you know, our profession, realtors and loan officers, they only look at, I need to get a deal today. I need to close in. I need to go show a house. I need to pre-approve somebody, right? So when I was spending so much time on social media, so many of my peers were like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you wasting your time?
He ain't closing no deals. That's what they were saying. He ain't closing no deals.
He can't be closing deals. He's always on social media, this, that, and third, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys just don't understand what I'm doing, right? Fast forward now, 3-4 years later, now my inbox and the same people who was kind of criticizing are now like, can you teach me what you're doing? Yes, for a fee.
Absolutely. My intellectual property now costs.
Exactly.
You know?
It definitely costs now.
It costs.
Because I've paved the way, I think, for loan officers in our community to do what I'm doing to monetize.
And you filled your tank.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? You worked on consistently filling your tank. And that's what they're missing, right? They just deal for deal. Dollar for dollar, deal for deal. They will make no more than the commission on their next transaction. But like what's going on right now, a lot of loan officers saying they starving. It's slow.
Oh, it's definitely slow for a lot of people.
Exactly, right?
We booked and busy though. We booked and busy. But again, it's because of that digital footprint is where we don't, and I tell people this all the time, I don't do what the typical loan officer does anymore. I don't have to really go out there and chase realtors. You know, you probably got 45 loan officers in your inbox this week alone. Yeah. Say, hey, let me take you to coffee, lunch, dinner, something like that.
And the answer, unfortunately, is no, because that's just not a value use of my time.
It's not a value add, right? I don't need to waste I can buy my own dinner or my own coffee, right? So for me, I don't have to chase that no more. Now the realtors come to me because they see, again, that digital footprint. They see I'm educating people. They see I have the products. They purchase the products, they learn more, they get a high learner from it, and they want to do business with me because they're learning from it. Right. And that's just been my source to keep my mortgage business going.
You said something that's key. They want to do business because they learn from you. They're not learning how to do real estate, they're learning the mortgage game. Yep. That's the third point. Yep. Realtors that understand the finance side of it. They understand the finance side, that can strategize how to get those people to the closing table from a finance perspective. And I'm not saying you have to be a lender, right? But I'm saying you have to know, hey, you have to be able to listen to somebody's situation and say, let me get you here. Yep. Let me send you to this person, or you need to do this and that. But realtors that have a good understanding of the finance aspect of the mortgage business get the business as well.
That's why I always bring up Kiana when someone says that, right? Yeah. And I say, yo, Kiana could sit here and have a whole conversation about all the loan programs that's available. Right. Right. And an in-depth conversation about it, not surface level convo, because we've had these conversations. I'm like, damn, you might as well get your MLO license. Right. Because you know as much as the regular everyday loan officer. And she was like, yeah, I study it because it helps me make more money and it helps me advise my clients. And so you're 100% right on that, right? The realtors who study financing, because to me, there's two very important keys to be successful in real estate: finance and construction.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understand both of those things, the world is yours as
Right.
a transactional professional, because now you can work with a slew of people from no matter where they are in their life. You can work with the entry-level buyer to the multi-million-dollar buyer to the investor who wants to fix and flip and landlord
Right.
and stuff like that. So you're 100% right. I try to encourage people, especially realtors, learn this financing game, because this will make you a lot of money if you apply that knowledge the correct way.
You solve people's problems, and I always say this all the time: everybody has a money problem. I don't care how rich you are. We always want more money.
That's a bar.
You know, for real. Everybody has a money problem, right? So if you solve the money problem, you win. And a lot of realtors don't get that. You know, they don't want to spend the time investing in understanding the money problem. Let's look at it okay, so look at it. You have a $200,000 home, right? 3.5% down. What is that? $7,500? $7,500, right? Most of the people that's buying a $200,000 home don't necessarily have $7,500 plus another $6,000 in closing costs, right? Now you got them up to almost $18,000 that they need to buy a house on a $200,000 home. Yep. They don't have that, right? You have solutions that can get them no money down, get their closing costs covered. You win. Same thing with a luxury buyer. You got a $2 million home, the standard, and you're looking at down payment requirements on a jumbo loan at 20%. That's $400,000.
Yep, plus
right?
closing.
Right, plus closing, right? You're looking at the average $2 million buyer nowadays. They're execs and things like that, right? $400,000, they can pay the mortgage all day long, right? But to come up with an extra $400,000,
where they getting it from?
Exactly, where they getting it from, right? So what are your solutions for half that, 10% down payment or something like that, right? You have those solutions, those arsenals in the back of your pocket, you win, because like I said, we all have a money problem, whether it's 200 or 2 million. $400,000 is a lot of cash for somebody to come up with.
We all have a money problem.
We all have a money problem.
I like that.
Cheers to we all have a money problem. We all have a money problem. You know, you solve the money problem, you win the business.
We can end it on that one.